10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Complexities turn to ban. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Gentlemen, boys, and girls, children of all ages, welcome on back to the Starladder I-League StarSeries Season 2 American Qualifiers. The tournament's going to be happening in USA, and now we're finding out a couple of the teams that might have a chance to move on into that tournament as well. It's Digital Chaos facing off against Complexity. In game number 1, we saw some shenanigans come out, an Alchemist draft from Digital Chaos. They were able to run the field with it, and this time Complexity are going to be looking to try and take a little bit of an advantage of their own. Ryu, my co-caster, as well as myself, Lyrical, we're going to be guiding you through this North American madhouse. How are you feeling? What are you thinking about this game here?
Thinking we're taking like 10 years just to first pick a hero. That's what I'm thinking. They instantly banned all those heroes, and then DC is just like, what the hell do we want to play? And it's gonna be a lion.
Ten seconds remaining.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I mean, it took longer for us to rehost the game than it did for the tree cut challenge to get finished with the golden tree change.
The other thing, I went over to check at the start of all of this to turn my coffee on. Like I had it starting at the beginning of last series. I was all excited, like giddy with anticipation. I wanted to drink some coffee, and then I realized I put literally no water in the coffee maker. And then I went over and I poured the coffee in, and obviously just like a huge little explosion of steam came out. And I don't have coffee still. That's what I'm telling you, Rio. It's a bit of a rough life.
I mean, I just used my fireballs, and I didn't even get much out of it. I think I got 1.5k, maybe 2k from it. I got like 100 to 500, 1,000, I think.
God, it's rough, man. It's a rough life we lead.
Fireballs are the worst. They like I'm not even talking about the shots anymore. And I love the shots, but in all seriousness, darn you challenge, you only gave me like one level. What is
this? Oh
this?
no, it's a rough life we lead, yeah, definitely. But again, to bring it back around, I mean, we don't see Lena in this game. We're not going to be having any of her fireballs up and causing us harm. It's going to be the Darkseer Invoker picked up after the Lion.
We got fireballs. We got an Exort, the fireman himself.
Do you think it's going to be Exort?
Oh, I mean, this game, I'm not saying I don't know yet. You have to see all the picks before we know it's Quads Wex. But against the PL, normally you want to go Quads Wex. And now in this situation, just so you have enough regen to sustain all those lances to face. But yeah, it's still not going to be the best situation for an Invoker PL matchup. PL should win this 9 times out of 10. And yeah, well, so we do get some fire.
In response to that, though, do you try and pick some hero to go into the mid lane and help out against the PL? Do we end up seeing maybe an Earth Spirit? Well, as I was going to say, an Earth Spirit picked up. He ends up getting banned out. Occasionally, we've seen Elder Titans roam around early on. They throw out one of those nice Astral Spirits and just go and punch whoever is in the opposing mid lane. Maybe even a little bit of a throwback with a Bane. Do any of those strike your fancy?
Anything strikes my fancy. I like the roaming heroes. I mean, we have seen in these series, I think 1 or 2 games yesterday where the Invoker was safe lane Exort, but having a Darkseer on the off lane Exort and Invoker mid. You would have to dual lane mid with another semi-good carry hero. They could put Ember mid still against the PL. Now, and Ember is one of those heroes
10
that does
seconds
counter
remaining.
PL to an extent. Early on, he's great for the first like 20-30 minutes,
5
but
seconds
once you
remaining.
get past that mark and PL starts having like a Scotty or even, you know,
Reserve time.
Heart and a Abyssal Blade, he can just survive
Complexities
all the sleight of
turn to
fist
pick.
damage coming in from the Ember, and it's not that much. So
Mhm.
the hero does counter, so it'll be interesting to see how they both approach this game. They want to even go back for a death prophet for coL too. Could put that mid and try
10
to
seconds
heavily
remaining.
push, you know, with the Invoker, with the DP. So there's a
5
lot of
seconds
options for
remaining.
complexity to still do.
No. I also, I mean, you mentioned earlier on in the first game that
Reserve
Invoker
time.
had, what was it, a 3-1 record in the best of 5 that they played yesterday, and Chessie certainly plays this hero really, really well. So it's nothing you can necessarily count out, but it definitely does feel a little bit scary with that PL being it. And CM gonna be the hero that gets
Nice.
picked up. So
Really
is this
good
gonna
this
be the
game.
new Phoenix?
I mean, last game saw how much synergy it had against the Beastmaster, even the summons, the bear constantly just frostbiting it. And this game, it's really good to use Freezing Field to cancel out all those illusions coming in from PL. So, I mean, the hero works in both of these situations. And that's why it's a good pick. Now, how do you punish that? You pick up a Clockwork. This is one of the games that Clockwork can succeed
10
in
seconds
because you
remaining.
have targets that can't escape. Like you're not going against a Queen of Pain, a
5
Puck.
seconds
I can just
remaining.
lose. No, CM, Darkseer, Invoker, all great hook targets. You might force one,
Reserve
if not
time.
two of them, to go for a Force Staff too. So this clock pick is superb right now.
We don't see a lot of play, but one of the few hero guys that's going to run it fairly consistently is Moo. He feels like he has a natural affinity with this guy, the Tin Man battle plan, and we're going to see it come into fruition here. As a response, we don't have a safe laner as of yet for complexity. Do you think about trying to go back for maybe even a ranged hero at this point? You mentioned the Queen of Pain, possibly thinking about running that safe lane. Is that something that could be worth it in this game, or do you think you don't need to worry too much about the clockwork?
It's really interesting, like how they're gonna approach it, because I'm not too sure what they really want to do. In all honesty, right now for complexity, their picks are kind of open. How do they want to approach things? Do they want to go for more a later game approach to this? Having a trying to figure out what counters PL in the later game stage. Normally it's owners and stuff,
Ember's
certain
okay.
heroes. I talked about Ember. It's okay, but it's normally Sven. Anti-Mage could still be a decent pickup for complexity against the PL. They want to try to end the game earlier, like I talked about. You could still go DP mid or a Lycan. It's still very good for the push.
10 seconds remaining.
That's something that they could end up going for, and it looks like as of now
Dire team
they're going to be going for the Dazzle. So it does feel like it could be into a pretty strong pushing lineup if you have that Shadow Wave that comes out, the weak
10 seconds
plays feel like they could have a lot of synergy together. And I guess also
5
already the
seconds
Invoker being able to
remaining.
have those Forward Spirits if he wants to go Quas Exort. But it does feel like with the
Reserve
Dazzle
time.
pick, it's not necessarily in the CM as well. It doesn't feel like they can go late given these supports already, because Lion just scales so much better, and DC still have another support pick. So I feel like Complexity are probably going to go early game here.
Interesting note: Beastmaster ignored completely this game.
Complexities turn
Where's
to
Dakota? Kyle guy,
All right.
summon him.
Go
He must
go
be
hit him
here.
up on Twitter, everybody. You were
Lolo,
talking about him earlier today, weren't you?
yeah, we were. It was like, what is like your 3 favorite heroes to play as support? Because I've been playing a lot of
10
support
seconds
recently, and
remaining.
him too. We were talking about during Rubik, and he
5
said,
seconds
obviously,
remaining.
my third one. I was like, Coddle,
Dire
right? So it's
team
just
back.
like, but hero never gets played, so it's like, how can it be your favorite hero to play anymore when it never gets to play it?
It's a rough life
Yeah, I
for a
know.
coDle player. Although I do have to say, this is one of those heroes that's quietly been getting buffs, patch and patch, over and over, and particularly that Chakra Magic. I think that this most recent change might be one of the ones that, again, we're seeing him competitive, but allow him to become a more popular pick in competitive. You get the mana restore. It also now gives you above your current mana pool. So if you cast that onto the PL, he's going to get an extra 75 mana, sort of in the same way as
10
Soul Ring,
seconds
and then
Mhm.
afterwards you also get the cooldown reduction, so -3 seconds. It's
5
really good
seconds
with a Spirit
remaining.
Lance. At max level, you're going to be able to toss out one, and then 1 second later, a second 300 damage nuke. It's pretty significant.
Complexities
Oh,
turn
250,
to
excuse me.
Oh man, that's a deny pick as well as an amazing pick. That is just crippling now for complexity. That I mean,
Oh my
just
god,
GG.
4 int heroes too.
It's like GG right now. Okay, this
Oh.
is a situation where you actually have to go all in the early game. Maybe they go
5
for. I guess
seconds
they can still go
remaining.
Alchemist. Complexity go for that. Okay, so Tiny. Yeah, this is a really, really good hero. This allows you to finally. You can go around constantly killing off the heroes, and you have ways to actually siege the high ground. So you can go there. Tiny gonna have the Ags. So. Oh man, I really love that last pick. But. Oh man. Same, but
Just think it's really, really strong. It has great synergy, and it counters out what complexity want to do. And I mean, coDle, one of the things that people, I don't think everybody's ever going to forget the Illuminate Blast of Death from the trees, but it's still something that's great at
10
holding high ground,
seconds
and all of
remaining.
DC's hero do that very well.
see this game going
5
one of two
seconds
ways.
remaining.
Clockwork just carrying complexity a new one, getting all the right hooks. I see Tiny here tearing DC a new one early on, at least for Limp. He have a very fast
Prepare for
dagger
battle.
and just kill Lion, coDle, even Clockwork extremely fast in these buffs around the map. So I would still edge with DC if I had to bet on this game. I would still say they're gonna win this one, but everything is not set in stone. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things work out this game. And it looks like we will be having a exhort in mid lane.
Hmm.
Okay. So the synergy's there. Sunstrike's around the map, setting up for the tiny ganks, and then you can also add pushing power, but you can still get harassed heavily from the Atlantis early on.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to see how it plays out. It feels like you're sort of forced into going for the Exort Invoker to have the push
30
potential with your
seconds
Forge
to
Spirits,
battle.
but as you're mentioning, it's also a bit of a catch-22. You don't necessarily want to have to go into that because you need to be able to deal with the Invoker in the mid, or the PL in the mid lane. Man, Moo is making all kinds of noises over here with this Clockwork. You see this? What is he doing?
He's H-ing. What are you talking about? That's not Moon.
He's Haytune, yeah, exactly. Did he change it from Z-Talk? No, he's Z-Talk. What are you talking about, man? Well, it looks like they're
DC.
gonna be heading over here, and Limp already has the ability to do a good amount of damage, but they're gonna go aggro try, or at least aggro duel. What do you think about this decision?
It'll be interesting. I think you want to shut down the anti-mage as soon as you can, and with Darkseer having a good start, it's gonna be nice. I don't think they could have shut down the Clockwork. You would be able to block the use back. So I think it's a good change up. Shutting down the anti-mage as much as they can. Now they have to make sure they don't feed.
Hmm.
Feed is the key word this game.
Yeah, that does feel like it could be something they need to be worried about. Misery going to throw out one of those Illuminates. Easy dodge. They also missed the Earth Spike, so starting off losing a little bit of mana, but if there's one guy that could help you with that, it's certainly going to be the Keeper of the Light.
Yeah, man fight getting his mana drained here.
They actually have 3 sources of mana drain in this lane.
That's kind of funny about that. Too bad they need Invoker on their side, and then who's an off lane? Medusa.
There you go. It's the that's the dream right there, or possibly a Slark too. Again, Misery. Okay, they lost some sounds.
Yeah, I have no sound too anymore.
Really?
Sad. Yeah.
I got it though. Nobody else cares, so it's fine.
Oh, that's
probably the players care, and you.
I care, but oh well.
It's going to be an interesting one. Already off to a decent start though in the mid lane. Chessie has been able to push back Weehaw a little bit. This is going to end up getting evened out as the creeps are under the tower though, so nothing really super impactful there. As far as the matchup though, you talked about Swindles versus Moo, the Darkseer versus the Clockwork dynamic. What's the big thing you need to be worried about for each of these two sides? Is there much kill potential in this lane?
I think there's a lot of kill potential for Moon's Clockwork. Like, he can isolate spells, he can burn all of his mana early on. Oh, he just failed, jinxed him. But yeah, and in this situation, as long as he can catch him with Battery Assault, I can really see, you know, First Blood happening for Moo.
Hmm. Well, and obviously needing to be very aware of that, but probably going to be a very sort of positioning-oriented game. You get caught in the ion shells, and it could end up being your swan song as well. We'll see how it ends up going, but as of now, it feels like the anti-mage has not been super... Well, he's been pretty heavily pressured, and Tiny's been able to get a lot out of this lane. There's a lot of kill potential up top here, so he's being careful.
I mean, this Clockwork has 9 denied. I just want to flag that.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, going back up to this top lane, it's very hard for Resolution to get anything done. But as long as they're not feeding over kills, and you know, Clockwork, once he gets his fast 6, he can just start rotating around, get kills on Chessie in the mid lane because he's not gonna have the Ghost Walk to escape, and he can even go up top. Well, speaking of mid lane,
he's looking for the kill. A couple right clicks. He's got the Spirit Lance that's going to come out, as well as the DD rune, and might be able to bring him down. Goes to Fairy Fire. They walk back, and Hanskin's going to be able to keep him alive. Meanwhile, under tower here, Swindles is trying to punish Moon. Might be able to find a little bit of damage going his way, and yeah, they're just going to end up trading blows. Mr. Moo Z-Talk, always tagged up as something different. He's causing some issues.
It was pretty funny watching Swindle dive like that. It's one of those situations that you just see how powerful Battery Assault can do, and with that being buffed up so much, it's your own rocket barrage, but even better at times. Like, and it just lasts forever too. The amount of damage that can come out. So I want to keep my eyes, like you're talking about, on this top lane. It's like, I feel like something's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, it really does feel like they need to make something happen. Maybe not like super early, but they need to be able to really get out of control with Limp. Like, if he can pick up a quick Blink Dagger, start moving around the map, making kills happen on these squishy supports, that's their way to win this game, and then taking objectives off the back of it. But likewise, DC not likely to let that happen, and every single time that one of those Illuminate Blasts comes out, it's such a difficult situation for Complexity.
Yeah, they can just push out the wave and then pull, but in this situation, Complexity understood that. Like, you push out lane with the coL blast and then you just pull. But they blocked it, so there's no way for them to pull back the lane. Onskin be in trouble here. Oh, that's done on ground.
Yeah, Suksa again trying to make that work, but not quite in position. And meanwhile, I missed first blood as Anti-Mage goes down.
Sunstrike on top was the extra additional they needed. So really well played coming in from Chessie, else they would not have had enough damage.
And it's pretty nice too. I mean, that's something we don't talk about a lot, is the root that comes out from the CM. It's a pretty good answer. It's, what's that end up being? 1.5 seconds of disable. You level that with an avalanche. It's 2.5 seconds. That's more than enough for a Sunstrike to come in, and you got to be careful with that. Resolution actually comes down to the bottom lane. He's had enough of up top. He doesn't want to be there anymore, and he's going to try and get some more farm on his own side, with Chessie in the mid lane just trying to mess with Weehaw a little bit more.
Yeah. We could have even seen this rotation come out at like the first minute, where Anti-Mage can go up against a Darkseer. He'll have no problem even beat the Darkseer just because he can mana burn him, kind of like the Clockwork situations. But decided they wanted to keep Resolution in the top lane, and now they're just like, oh well, we can still rotate lanes. And then Clockwork's still almost level 6, but we didn't get to talk about this too much, where Tiny is the counter to Clockwork. If you try to hook in on Tiny and you don't have another disable, he's just going to blow you up. So and at the same time, if you can get a Blade Mail, you could also, you know, kill the Tiny as well, because then he can't use his Avalanche Toss combo. And so there's a lot of, you know, cat and mouse games here between those two heroes.
Lots of ways to outplay each other, which is always great to see because it means you're going to see somebody getting outplayed. And it does look like at the very beginning, Limp is just going to end up going down. Oh, really good last-minute shallow grave. Also, the toss back Hexton should still fall as he's going to get ran down. Man, a pretty nice little rotation there as Moo punishes that Tiny. Well played.
That was a high-level play from everybody. Really nice to watch. Tuxa?
He's looking. Not going to be able to find him, though. There's no poison touches out for Dazzle. They lay down one ward, going to block it now on two side, but one of those is going to expire very shortly. Sunstrike not going to connect as there's no follow-up again. And
Nope, mid lane. Dive. Yeah. God.
oh,
Nice
going to be
dodge.
able to get away. Doppelganger, he's still got his DD rune. The toss onto Jesse and trying to kill off these illusions. He does end up going down and might end up paying for it as they're able to search through and find the kill.
Meanwhile,
Darkseer
top
picks
lane.
it up.
Z-Talk be able to run him down. Z-Freak is gonna die. Oh! That's Rocket.
Oh, the flare. Good stuff. Again, there's just those little opportunities there to show off and make the outplays, but not quite in time. 5 kills so far. Tiny still top of the net worth, despite dying in that top lane. And Resolution, he's going to head back up towards there as well. So a lot of movement early, and let's see where they end up going next.
Right. And that was good rotations coming in from Complexity to at least punish the PL. Else that would have been a free kill because he had the double damage run. And far rotations are going to be good. Limp can just free farm his Blink Dagger in the bottom lane now. He doesn't need to do overzealous and have to be the one ganking constantly around the map. He just needs to go in the next after he gets the Blink.
So what do you think about this decision to stick the Swindles in the mid lane now? Like they're moving all over the place, and it's pretty much just Handskin up top here against the Anti-Mage, and he can kind of do this because Resolution's been a bit hampered in the early stages. Do you like the play?
It was fine because Invoker just retreats to jungle and farms real quick, and then PL is eventually going to push out the lane again, and then Invoker will just come back mid, farm it, and then it'll be fine. Skin's getting levels as well. That's what they need on their supports right now is, you know, you need to get that grave up, the range, need more heal and sustain. So it's fine for them.
Ooh, Moo, he might have gotten spotted there, but the Crystal Nova did not quite get into range, and they're going to think that he's all alone now. This is certainly an opportunity. If they bring somebody down to the bottom lane to try and kill off Limp, of course, the natural toss away could be an issue still, so not doing it as of yet. It looks like instead they're just going to try and push in the mid lane. And you mentioned it. Weeha on this PL doing it with the coddle there as well.
Yeah, just put as much pressure as you can. You know the Invoker is in the jungle farming, so you're able to pressure these towers, and taking it down to half HP that's how you punish the Invokers for jungling.
And it does look like, at least for now, the tower brought down, and yeah, it's going to be fine for the moment. I do love this, though. You know, you're going to be able to have just a 2-second cooldown after using it on the Spirit Lance. One and then a second one. Like, if you would have thrown that at Handskin, that easily could have been a kill. Z-Freak should realize now that this is going to end up being Moo over here, and they spot him out, toss out one Crystal Nova. Mid lane still a bit of a battle. Nothing doing as of yet. And with that, they're going to realize that Moo is over here, and still don't want to try and go onto him, though.
It's funny that Moo's just leeching EXP in this bottom lane. Honestly, what would be better for him is just to go jungle or something. It's really hard for DC to play super aggressive this game because they have 2 cores, right? And it's kind of weird to say, but like Moo, if he goes anywhere, it's going to be very easy for them to tell. Oh, speaking of which.
Swindle. They are going over here, and they're battling up in the top lane, into the bottom lane. Resolution not going to be able to find a kill, and instead they're going to be able to jump onto Moo and bringing him low. Z-Freak might be able to have enough damage, but it looks like he's going to be able to walk away. There's going to be the hook out, so no real problem.
The toss.
Oh,
Yep.
tossing Z-Freak from afar, from downtown. They get the kill. Crystal Maiden doing it big. Does pay for it in the end, though. And meanwhile, mid lane, oh no, just a little bit of a, again, flirting with danger there.
Yep, and
Not able to get that one as Invoker does deny it. I was trying to figure out what the hell you were doing for a second there, and I was like, oh, it's the pump fakes. Yeah, I get it now.
No, I was just being high as usual. But yeah, that's Seriously, I was pump fakes were real. They really wanted Chessie to attack the tower, but it didn't happen. And this is right when coL starts to become obnoxious to play against. When he's constantly recalling people around the map, split pushing, and this is where complexity have to start worrying, right? Where we saw last game, they could not survive the split push coming in from the Alchemist.
Meanwhile, over here, they are going to be able to dodge away from that Sunstrike, but it shows off that power of the Avalanche toss. Yeah, you're talking about he definitely can become obnoxious here, and having the constant Illuminate spam that comes out, and he's going to be able to give it to himself, and then the lowered cooldown, it's just really frustrating. But Complexity are still taking advantage. They're pushing in the mid lane. It ends up going down after getting the deny on their own tower. They take the opponent's mid tier 1, and it looks like they're going to try and group up and make something happen with this Blink Dagger on Tiny.
Yep.
Oh.
Very bad move. It did move.
Jumps in, there's going to be the stun, the toss, the Sunstrike, perfectly combined, and Weehaw now also going to have to head the heck out of there. They do have another toss if they want to use it in a second, but no such luck. Instead, they're just going to continue to hit this mid-tier 2. Complexity realized they need to make something happen, and they're doing it.
For sure. The situation where they can't... They're in a better situation this game than they were last, because the enemy team have two greedy cores where it's actually really hard for AM and PL to just fight in team fight. They need so many items.
Oh,
so,
God, Mid just left, though. Ztok's going to come back in. He actually ends up being able to catch on to Swindles. They're going to keep him in the power cogs, and Finger of Death comes out. He goes down. So as soon as they end up leaving with that Tiny, they take advantage on the side of DC. Very well played.
Nice understanding there. But they need to be a little bit careful here for resolution. Z-Freak. Rotate over.
No, not going to be able to get him. That could have potentially been a kill, as much as it might not have looked like it with the Blink Dagger on Limp and then being able to get the root. That would have been solid.
And Sunstrike on the top. Moon needs to be very careful too. This is... Oh, they know where he is. Are they going to find Limp? Don't have Hook, else Limp would be dead.
I mean... This is still a scared TM. Z-Freak doesn't have a TP right now. Very behind enemy lines. Does Move find him? Doesn't look like it. Oh my God, they ping it out. Are you kidding me? They spot out that CM's over here. What is happening? That shouldn't be going down like that, and she's definitely going to die. Well, they jump in, trying to go for a counter initiation, and the vacuum with the Sunstrike combo together. Ztok is going to get ran down. They bring the kill. Oh my goodness.
Clockwork. Image died 3 times and spawned another image of himself. 3 times. I don't even know how that works.
It's a pretty nice play there, because the other part about that was, like, the final tally ends up being the Anti-Mage and the Clockwork for the CM. Despite the fact that they found her over in the jungle. That was really awesome.
Well played from Complexity. Sad they say they can't pressure anymore, but it looks like they do want to pressure top lane, and they are still very strong. They don't have long cooldown ultimates or anything, and so they can constantly pressure. Swindle has his mechanism. They have all the items they really need to start pressuring. Only problem is they're rotating constantly around the map. Tiny's not going to have the most amount of farm in this game. Meanwhile, bottom lane.
Yeah. Oh, but he's going to pay for it. Every time they're punishing it, and the CM is being covered in this game. That's not something that you always end up seeing. Take a note, everybody. If you have a CM on your team in your pubs, be sure to cover them. You're going to be able to make stuff happen for your team. It's good stuff. Misery, meanwhile, is going to try and see if he can recall somebody. They might be able to make a pretty good fight here, as Resolution's going to chase down Handskin and gain a little bit of the mana drain already out, and Illuminate's going to come out as well. Swindle's running away. Chessie is out of there as well, and it looks like they're going to have to sacrifice the Dazzle. So he's gonzo, but they are going to be able to at least push down this bottom tier 1.
Yeah, because Limp TP to that bottom lane, they know they're able to rotate everyone for DC up to the top lane, get that kill, and sure, it's not the best kill in the world, but you're still defending your towers. Maybe not the bottom one, but you're still defending your tier 1 top. You're farming very effectively on the heroes, and this is very interesting to see. Resolution went for a Ring of Aquila on Anti-Mage. Don't know if I've seen that in a long time, and he's still going to go back for the Battle Fury too. So. And normally when you have the auto on your team, and you're still going to go for the Battle Fury, you don't need to worry about having that mana regen, but I guess extra stats is always nice, because we see how he can be blown up the Avalanche Toss plus Sunstrike combo.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense that you want to make sure that that's going on, and I like that the coDL's also been able to go back for this Ags. He's starting to build into it now. Gonna have 2 components of it completed. It does feel like Misery is doing a lot with this hero that traditionally ends up getting punished a lot. I mean, if you're 004 and 37 last hits on coDL at this point in the game, I feel like you're pretty comfortable with that with decent net worth. He's
Yeah,
right, actually. I mean, it's worth noting, though, that he is, like, only barely behind the AM, which isn't the best part about that. Like, you want your AM to be getting more farm.
It's a situation where Misery has just played superb on his CM. Now he's playing amazing on his coDL, and he's just helping his team. He's not doing anything wrong, so really well played. And whoop, dead.
Nice. Jump in, easy kill. They find the PL, and maybe going to be able to take down the tier 1 tower. It's feeling like right here, Complexity are getting a lot done. Are they on a timer, though? Like, what's the item where DC end up being able to take over this game? Is there one in particular? As Misery is going to get jumped on, they have the Frost fight, and he's going to go down.
I'm very surprised he actually went for that play. Normally you could just go for the... He could have ultied and then pre-cast the Illuminate and just TP'd somewhere else, but played super greedy there. And Complexity, still, as we talked about, are on a timer. They need to make sure they have something, ways to end this game. And that's going to be the Ags on... Well, Tiny went for Shadow Blade. He really just... They set this up perfectly. They know.
Oh my god, that was really well done. And yeah, Limp is just going to end up getting punished for that. Man, it was like watching an airplane crash about to happen. Like, oh my god, they realize. That was pretty awesome.
That was... There's many airplanes that hit home. No.
Oh no. Oh god, alright. Well, it does look like right now they're going to end up running away. We're just going to scoot right by that one because we got a team fight, and Icewall trying to see if they can get away from their vacuum wall onto 2. Maybe going to be able to reinitiate, and Resolution taking a good amount of damage. The Sunstrike come through. They find the kill. Maybe going to be able to take down Moo as well. It looks like for the moment they're not going to, as they just stop it for the moment. Oh, well, they caught him. He has his hook still if he needs to get out of there. coDL Blast connects onto 2. Z-Freak, the most bold CM in the world, is not going to be punished for it, and this team fight just feels like it's lasting forever. They've already lost their AM, but I feel like they can still fight.
Yeah, Swindles is just doing every single thing right. Rehop, careful. He went for Phantom Rush for... That was...
Interesting. Doppelganger on a 22-second cooldown for right now, so they are going to be able to continue to push this tier 2 tower. Very awkward.
I don't know why you would use Phantom Rush over Doppelganger Max. I have no idea, maybe for chasing purposes, but that's...
In the lane,
It's
it's
just
kind of cool because you're able to run just right at the Invoker, and then, you know, obviously afterwards Doppelganger away. But even then, if you try and put more points in it, you usually get a couple more in Doppelganger. There must be something we're not seeing.
I mean, it's Weehall too, so
Yeah.
he's a great player. Just trying to wrap my head around it, but that last team fight was just so good for Swindles. Like, he carried them during that team fight. He put the anti-mage illusion on top of the AM, drained all of his mana, and then he couldn't blink away. Always nice Sunstrikes coming in from Chesty. So they have a lot of ways for ways to deal and kill this AM off, but oh my goodness, Misery, it's like every time you look at this guy, he's just got more gold and more gold. Can he just buy something? Stressing me out.
A little bit. It's scary. You got Limp with the Shadow Blade trying to find a buddy, and they're not going to be able to get him. He was going
Bottom
right
lane.
to where he would have been. Oh my god, I'm the worst. They end up being able to take down the Dazzle. That's pretty
I always
quick
saw
and
the
easy.
tail end of it. Our camera work duo should be fine there.
10 to 10, and right now the bigger important thing that we're looking at is Complexity with a lead. It's tenuous though. Late game, anti-mage and PL is so difficult to deal with, and I do kind of start to wonder if enough space has been created by these other heroes to allow them to have a chance to get into that late game. Like, if this goes much later, DC are going to start to take over, I feel like.
Oh yeah, 100%. If they can start shutting down the anti-mage and the PL next 10 minutes and they're halted from item progression, then maybe not. Because right now the 3 highest our complexity. But yeah, if this rate continues and AM's gonna have, you know, 2 more items, PL have 2 more items, then it's gonna be very difficult for complexity to game out.
Oh, they're going to run into Resolution right here. Smoke breaks. They realize that he's over here in this camp and might be able to find a quick and easy kill. Sunstrike coming through as well. Oh my god. They knew it was happening, but not going to be able to finish him off. Again, those points in Spell Shield just so imperative for the survival. And it's great against Tiny. I mean, they only got 1 point in it, but he's still got ridiculous magic resistance.
It's one of those situations where if Tiny had his Echo Saber, which he's building for, he might still be going for a BKB. Probably Echo Saber for the extra hit. Or if he had his Silver Edge to take away like you're talking about. That could have been a nice Unfortunate. Not going to get that, and that's more space created for DC. You can just see how Misery is just going around the map, pushing, getting all the money.
And now they're trying to build into this Battle Fury for the Anti-Mage, but at the same token, Complexity know what they need to do. They're moving in, trying to take down Roshan. Oh, a little bit of the counterplay. They think that we might be seeing DC move in to contest this, and because of that, Complexity double back. They already surged up the Tiny, and they leave Roche for the moment, but this creates a little bit of space right here. You're still going to be able to see Weehaw push out this top lane, and I think that they thought they were coming for him, and now everybody from DC just going to back out.
Right. Still hovering in the Roche pit. These are nice scouting rockets coming in through. And with this blast, Cuddle will have my ass. Good for the side of DC, but also for Complexity because they're going to have this with now. They, however, are losing a lot of map control.
So how big is going to be this Aghanim Scepter for the coddle? Like, whenever I think about these really great vision items, it always feels to me that you can have the vision, but sometimes you can't even do anything with it because they're just going to be running at your front door. Is that something they need to be concerned about for DC, or how good is that high ground defense of theirs?
Their high ground defense is insane right now because of the coddle, because of the clockwork. And you can just constantly spam out eliminates, and when it's daytime, as you're talking about, you're going to be able to see anything that's going on from Complexity. You're going to need to have a smoke gank during the daytime. It's kind of like countering a Night Stalker, right? But it's daytime, so we're like a day stalker here, Coddle. And you want to fight now at night, so you want to put some pressure on and try to kill off the coddle first, because if he's able to, you know, blast, you know, 2 or 3 illuminates during a team fight, they get healed too, man. That can turn the team fights around because Complexity are so reliant on bursting heroes. Their whole lineup is on bursting 1, if not 2 heroes at a time.
The other thing that we can also start thinking about as well is with Coddle being able to cast that Illuminate here on the Lion, you end up being able to get eventually a 6-second cooldown on Hex. So you Hex first, you're going to be able to get 4 seconds disable, followed up by 2.6 seconds from the Earth Spike, and then 1 more Hex after the fact. And it really is incredible how quickly that ends up racking up. And also Mana Leak, one of the most annoying spells in the game late stages. Once he gets a couple more points in that, the 1,000 cast range, you got to be concerned right here for Complexity. If DC are able to hold this game out much longer, I'm really a little bit worried.
I'm worried too. They have a timing window. They're still in a good position, all things considered, as we talked about. They need to make sure they end the game not on this Aegis, but the next one 100%. Else they could look very bad. So, and like you talked about, another thing to iterate with the coddle thing, as you talked about, the Mana Leak, it forces some heroes to go for that BKB. Like you're saying, it's really annoying. Tiny might need to have it, else he's stuck there. So, not ideal situation for some of the Complexity heroes.
I do like the Swindle picking up the pipe after the mechanism and Force Staff. Like, he's got the initiation that he needs. He's going to be able to save his allies. Doesn't have that blink that you sometimes end up seeing, but still is going to be a solid pickup. And it puts him in a good position to be able to take high ground. But it does not look like, as of yet, they want to try and make that play, as they're still keeping a hold of this Aegis on the Invoker. And what do you feel like they're waiting for at this point before they end up going?
Chessie, you realize that okay. Chelsea's BKB, that's what we talked about. He needs for Limp, and then Chelsea's Ags going to be complete here. So they were just waiting for those items, and
Okay.
Invoker's going to be able. He really wants level 16 here.
Yeah.
That would be lovely. Do they have a tomb? Question. Aaron back at base? Nope. Probably not.
Well, for the moment at least, gonna alacrity up some of these Forge Spirits, ready to start pushing. They can jump forward with Limp. They spot him out and realize that they don't want to try and tango with the Tiny as of yet. Glyph gonna buy a couple of seconds. This is a big bad man up in your face and ready to go in if he wants. The BKB, as you mentioned, is online now, so at any given point in time, it can just take this battle. Gonna jump forward, toss back the PL. They end up being able to throw out the Earth Spike, controlled for the moment. Oh, the hook does not end up connecting, and
Double
Vacuum
force.
only gets onto Moo. That was a really solid force, definitely. We talked about it. Swindle's making big plays for his team.
And Z. That was the double force. The bros.
Well, they didn't pop pipe for that, so if they need to, they can go back in again, but it looks like they don't want to yet.
They were trying to figure out what they wanted to do during that. Like, they're saying, okay, well, we have 2 split pushers, but we actually need one of you to come back and help defend. And I think it's better for the BL to just throwing out lances and for resolution to constantly split push and farm. They're just funny. They're walking through the wall and base. This ended, but Saxa lost about 300 HP.
No big deal, it's fine. So, what do you think it was that made Complexity not want to go up there? Is it just Aegis timing, or not feeling comfortable with going in for another round with the Blink, or what do you think it is that made them back out?
You really need to have Tiny, I think, with the Ags, as well as an Aegis. More so than they need to have Invoker, because they go on to the Invoker, they still have the potential to have this huge mana void. So if he's sieging with the Invoker, they're going to be able to pick him off, I feel. And with having his huge mana pool, it could be a very big problem. So sieging the high ground's not going to be the easiest. And Radiant has used Scan.
Yeah. I think DC read this pretty well, that this was going to be coming, and Weeha's going to send some illusions mid, but they're not going to be able to find him. Goes for the Shadow Blade, and actually should realize that this is where Weeha is. Do have the possibility to blink in on top of him. Are they going to be able to find him? Oh, they actually ended up using the Doppelganger offensively and only catch onto the Lion. He does end up going down. Handskin now also going to fall. So suddenly a bit of a problem as they've lost their Dazzle at the start of the fight. Chessie has also been Diffusal Blade, trying to run away. They've got the Mana Leak on him. They're also going to be able to catch there on the move. A pretty big Mana Void, but not enough. They're going to vacuum wall onto 4. Is there enough follow-up, though? It doesn't look like it as of yet. That's going to be Z-Freak going down.
The gem.
Swindles away. Oh, no, that was not the way it was meant to go.
That's devastating. Absolutely devastating. And we talked about it enough. They're on a timing window. Just really well played from DC. Now they can just... The worst part about that is now they can push out all the lanes from DC, and they can just rat the hell out of Complexity. So that team fight meant a lot for both teams.
And it's really weird. Again, I can understand needing to back out and make sure that your Invoker was on a good place with having the Aegis, and it could have expired if it was an extended team fight, and that would have put Complexity in a really awkward position. But for me, the smoke moving up there into the enemy jungle without a ton of vision, like they had the one ward up here on the high ground, but just a very, very high risk play. And I can understand needing to make that given how dire of a situation
You make
they're
that
in,
play
but-
because it's nighttime too. You're gonna find him.
Under attack.
Oh.
And we talked about it, like, you have to make plays during the nighttime, but then you have reduced vision. So it's just like, what do you do in these situations?
So what you're saying is coL confirmed OP.
coL confirmed OP if you don't use smoke during day.
Okay, sounds good.
I got you. Logic bomb, bam.
This is why you're that's why you're the
1K
analyst, man.
MMR?
You know what's up, yeah.
I say tome instead of tomb. Tomb instead of tome. A hard word, man.
I feel you, absolutely. Well, you still got Weeha up here as well as
Jesse.
Suksa gonna be able to find Jesse. They cut him out, and he's doing a lot of damage. Finger of Death He's just dead. No great response. Forge are actually going to be able to kill off the Lion, though. He ends up falling, and they don't quite catch. Oh, they do have Weehaw. They've got an illusion created from him, and now trying to find a little bit more. Mantis styles away, but he's going to go down. Maybe an opening. They do have the Invoker that's going to be back up before too long. I don't know if they can really do anything off this, though. Again, it's such the problem that you've still got Rezo alive, this anti-mage, and he's able to split push while this is all happening.
Question now is if Invoker would, but I guess they do have 20 seconds like you're talking about to work with for the Invoker. He has Boots of Travel, can come into the mid lane. Tier 3 tower is very low. So this is not desperate, but it's the play they have to make.
I actually really like this play. I feel like they're in a good position to make it. They just have to make sure that they wait until Invokers. Then you can see the ping out. They're going to go in with this wave of creeps and possibly try and make a play. It's going to be pretty close to when PL responds, so they have to have like a huge burst of damage at that point.
They need to pipe this
creep wave, you think? Okay.
Oh.
So jumping forward, looking for it. Oh, Hex comes out as well. The Earthspike connects onto 2. Not the greatest of starts, but also not the worst. The Mana Drain is also really devastating there for the Tiny, and now they pipe up the lone Catapult. Oh god, that really hurts. I don't know if they can do this now. This is...
No.
Oh no, they kill it off. And now they're gonna catch on a Z-Freak on his way out, the pushback with the cogs, and oh, good force step up to the high ground though. So the disengage, somewhat clean. 2DC continue to chase this.
No, that was a really good disengage from DC, and it was good high ground, positioning from Complexity. Also, they appear. They really wanted to bait DC into the opening, so good of DC to not go for that BM or even going into the high ground. A lot of other teams might have been baited into a bad situation.
Limp does have that Blink Dagger if he wants to try and go for a play. Again, each and every time that they're doing this, it feels like they just have to make something with this. And they actually don't have all of their heroes back right now. PL is not with them, nor is the Anti-Mage. And they've got creeps in the base still alive. The tier 3 tower is going to end up going down. So again, not the worst situation in the world. Backdoor protection is off. They're looking to try and take a lane of Rax. If they could do this here, it would be pretty enormous. And Earthspike goes on to Limp, very low. BKB still not popped. By the way, it's a 10-second one if they want to go for it. And they have the Mana Drain now. He needs to pop it at some point.
He's got no mana. They could just kill him now.
Looking for it, might be able to. Again, the hook is available. They get the Finger of Death from afar. They catch. Gonna be able to push back on the cogs onto Swindles, and Vacuum Wall. Is there enough damage there? It doesn't look like it. They threw out the Mana Void. Swindles is gonna get graved, but with nothing left in 14 seconds before Greaves, he's definitely gonna go down. Handskin escapes, as does Chessie, but they lose their DC, or rather DS.
Lost the DS times DC. It's looking
That's good.
So dire for Radiant, and I just don't know if Complexity have a lot left in. I just don't know if I agree with this Tiny being a Shadow Blade. Even he needs a BKB this game, but I'm not sure if he should have gotten it this soon. They really need to have the Ags, and this Roche is crippling. It's absolutely crippling for Complexity. They need to be going high ground at this stage of the game. Maybe going high ground a second time for a second Rex, but it's not happening.
And you've got things now like the Abyssal online for the Anti-Mage, and you do still have always the potential there for a Tiny to get out of control with an Agnum Scepter and start tearing down those towers, but without the IO, it's just hard to make that actually work. The naked Tiny doesn't always end up coming to full fruition, and he's getting closer to that Agnums, but it's also a bit of a farming item. I mean, I just think that it's going to be hard for them to keep all the lanes pushed out. That to me seems like the biggest issue right here for Complexity.
Yeah, pushing out lanes, as we talked about, is going to be the biggest thing, and then now they can't kill PL at all. Like, PL is immortal. Got Aegis, he's got a heart. He could be the frontline sieger for DC now. And Complexity don't even have answers for him. So this is the problem now when you don't have your Ags on your Tiny. You just got it now, and like you talked about, it is a farming item as well as a sieging item. So if he could have had that Ags earlier, we could maybe see him have about 18k net worth to maybe 20k. But since he went for this all-in type of build just for kills, it's where they are right now. Didn't get the kills.
You can understand the dynamic too, though, because again, it feels like given the picks that we had from DC, that last pick anti-mage, you spoke about it and how great it was
Swindles.
for their team. Oh god, yeah, Swindles is going to pop here. There's no great way. He does get X. The frog is very fast, but the hook shot is going to catch on the handskins. They push him back again, and Sunstrike is not going to connect. He ends up graving himself, and there isn't really another great option for him. They have been able to catch 2.
They got the day vision. They got eyes on Chessie. This is the problem.
Yeah. Oh.
Mana Void?
Yep, he broke it. He's outie. That's going to end up being another dead Chessie.
Oh, bottom
God.
lane too. They are dead at the blade. No, we all just TP'd, pushing out the lane.
I was going to say that it felt like the only way that Complexity win this is if they just snowball off of kills, and DC have been playing such a calculated game. Like, I even think back to, you know, Moo. We made fun of him a little bit for staying in the trees down there in the bottom lane, but if he goes for some of those ganks with his hook through the first couple of levels and feeds away some deaths to the Tiny, this game looks very, very different. So I think that DC were always just trying to play for this late game scenario.
Radiant's top tower is under
Well,
attack.
they had to because of the 2 birthday picked, and they just did it very greedily. And I still don't agree with the Tiny's items, and it's just too all in at the situation. But
Right.
and if they had Aegis on him and him sieging the high ground, I think it would have been way better. But that's neither here nor now.
Well, they are going to be able to jump forward and try and bring down the PL, but you said it, man. Just too tanky right here, and Moo ends up catching Z-Freak. You also spoke about the CM, how difficult it is for there. BKB pop for Limp, trying to man up against him, and also going to be able to do the CM ulti. Is it enough to kill him off a second time, though? That's the big question. They do have enough for Avalanche, but not quite enough for Toss, and now, out of mana, out of time, they jump on in, going to be able to catch him as well. Isn't it enough damage from Chessie? They get the combo, but they just don't have it. The buyback from the CM, they're trying to run away now. DC do not want to overextend. If they feed away a kill here, PL, it would definitely be a problem. And, well, Chessie, out of mana. Feels like I've said that phrase a billion times in this game. He defused the blades off the Frostbite. Z-Freak's still chasing. They want to kill him if possible. They're actually going to be able to get the recall away. No, it gets canceled, and now going to drop down. If they can find this kill, it'd be huge.
Oh, I got it,
the
man.
Doppelganger, they
Oh.
get the kill regardless.
I don't think he was expecting a CM right there, because he could have doppelganger to the low ground.
Okay, push mid. This is the play. They've
Yeah.
got them all up. Force the buyback maybe from the PL. What's your read on this situation? What's Complexity's chances? Buyback status is not there for the clockwork, but everybody else has them.
It's a situation where
Oh.
Resolution could just trade for Rexes, potentially.
They also didn't get creeps up to the high ground. coL killed them all. Oh, no.
And they also have Blinding Light you have to deal with. Even MKB doesn't work against that anymore on buildings. I mean, like, this is... How do you siege against coL?
Oh, the jump in. This might be the way to do it. Kill off the line at the start. He's gone, and Rezo jumps in, able to get a pretty nice Abyssal Blade, but the Force Staff away, keeping him there. Complexity out team fighting him so far, but Moo pushes him back with the cogs. Looking for another one. They bop back on the line, gets the Earth Spike. Chessie in trouble. Oh, they don't end up hitting on the Mana Void. There it is. They end up doing the damage to him, but nobody else dead as of yet. Does he have buyback? Invoker does. They might need to think about it at this point, but no, they're just going to end up backing out. So they get away. They lose the Invoker, but they don't take any objectives.
I don't even want to play against coL anymore. I would actually rather play against a coL than a Tinker, though. Let's be real, guys. That hero
Yeah.
is just so obnoxious. But you can see how, face down, Z-Freak is going to be thing her ulti. Well played.
A little bit of frustration, possibly. I don't think there was ever any way that you kill Weehaw there. But maybe Limp gonna be able to do something. Oh, it's just, oh god, it's so difficult. Again, one Spirit Lance and Limp's mana is a third gone. Like, what do you do against this? All of these illusions just taking it away from him, and now in towards the mid lane.
The only hope.
Now, it feels like this is going to be, well, the toss back, they got the Hex, and oh, the vacuum doesn't connect because of the Doppelganger. Now hands can drop in low. They get the Shallow Grave off, still alive for the moment, trying to bring him down. He does have a big mana pool, but As of now, they're just going to keep their eyes on the prize, taking down the tier 3 tower. Resolution has Mana Void backup, so you got to be careful about that one. There's going to be the combo, but pops the BKB, turns on to Limp. He's going to end up exploding, and Lion finds the kill in the end. Radiant go for the fortification. And the buyback from the Tiny just trying to take this fight at all. They don't have nearly enough damage, though. They kill off the Lion again, and that's a dieback for him, so possibly something going there. Weehaw turning again to try and fight. Chesty dropped low, Diffusal Blade, and Grave still there. Oh, it's really hard, though, at this point. He does Ghost Walk out, so he's going to be fine. Man, they're really doing their best to make this battle last as long as possible, but Hanskin dies. The tier 3 tower is already dead, and they also end up being able to take down the first melee barracks. Top lane is pushing in, so there's some chance for a backdoor, but DC seem to be really covering all their bases.
Boom. Boom.
Well, Limp looking, find one. Moves four steps away. It hurts. And now turning again. Rezo slowed, is going to be controlled. The CM ulti's still going, and they're all out of there, though. They're not going to be able to do it. And Z-Freak, again, is just getting ran down.
Mana
CM
Void
is food this
here,
game.
and 2-1 Resolution just pushing away.
Oh, looking. CM's still alive.
I thought he'd just come in there and like Mana Void like CM or things, but he just objective. Oh, okay, there it is.
Oh my god, that's disgusting. Resolution, BKB's turns. Let's party, Z-Freak. I want to battle ya. Oh, toss him back in a fountain. Maybe the way to do it. Mid to dodge. All right, the damage isn't quite there as of yet. They've still got Alacrity on Limp and ends up only being able to hit Moo, and there's going to be the cogs and the hook away. Resolution also running out. Oh god, the double blink. That's so disgusting. Vacuum back catches onto 2 Misery and Moo, but still, they just don't have the damage that they need. They end up throwing out another hook just to try and disengage for the moment, and Limp actually controlled as well. No, they're not going to be able to find him as he's still running out of here. The Ice Wall also for the counter initiation. DC just running, and he ends up getting finally brought down. Lion on the other side, you mentioned it. Misery, drop in, Sunstrike, gonna connect. The damage is there. They've lost 3. Complexity somehow end up coming away with that one with a couple of kills, but the 2 cores still remain.
And 2 Rex, 2 full lanes of Rex are gone too. So, game is pretty much in the bag for DC
this is the
here.
play, though.
Yeah, you just have to go all in.
They actually don't have buyback. Right now, well, actually, you know what? No, they have buyback on the heroes that matter. If they can kill off some of these heroes at the start, if they can kill off the coL, maybe it makes it work, but you got to take down the anti-mage and the PL at this point. And PL has a butterfly.
There's just no hope.
Swindles?
And
Mana leaked and just punched in the face. They have the Doppelganger creating more illusions. He's out of mana completely. Oh my god, this is... Oh god, and the Mana Blade, and now Limp also gonna go down. They have the Shallow Grave, but everybody is just out of mana. And, oh man, he ends up falling. They buy back on the Darkseid, but before he can get in there, the rest of his team is completely gone, and triple for Rezo, looking for a bit more. They've got the Ghost Walk on Invoker, just trying to moonwalk out of there, but GG, well played, ends up getting called. DC 2-0 in Complexity after losing, or actually after taking him down yesterday as well.
so
A little bit of fun here.
score is now 5-2 for DC, our new North American overlords. We're going to see how they battle out against EG to see if they're the true American overlords. But yeah, this is... Last game was a stomp. This game, more so, Complexity had a good chance, but I think a little bit of itemization